All right, so on this week's edition, we're going to continue our What Is That series by telling you about the history and the current use of the Rappahannock Canal in Fredericksburg. All right, so today we're here with two of my colleagues, Eric Nelson, who's the city's transportation administrator, and Dave King, who's the city's public works director. And Eric and Dave were kind enough to give up some of their time to tell us about the Rappahannock Canal, which is in the background of our shot here. You've probably gone by it a million times if you've used our popular Rappahannock River Heritage Trail and the Canal Trail. You may not know too much about the history of why it's there. So Eric's a local history expert, and Eric, tell us about why the canal was built in the first place and how it was used over the years.
Sure. Well, the canal was initially supposed to be a navigational canal for the upriver reaches to bring goods down here to the city, and then transportation out by the river. It was begun in 1829, and it took several decades for it to be extended upriver 25 miles. But this section here is the first section, and it began down at the community center where there was a large turning basin, and then proceeded upstream from there. What we're looking at in this section would have been the overflow, where flow of the river diverted into the canal would have continued flowing back into the river. So that's what we're looking at here. It looks fairly large and probably has increased in size over the years, but it was a navigational canal to proceed up into the Rappahannock Valley. Before the Civil War, the navigation really never worked very well. It never made money, and so the power of the canal, the water power, was still very valuable. And so there was a power company, the Fredericksburg Power Company, that built a dam across the river up near the I-95 bridge, and increased the flow and made it a little bit more powerful, which provided power for water-powered industries. And that was a big deal here in Fredericksburg, and had been already for a century.
So it powered a bunch of mills down here in what we now call the Mill District.
Right. This is Fredericksburg's original mill district, the Old Mill Park. There's actually two canals. This is what I call the Upper Canal. The Lower Canal was the first canal and powered industries in Old Mill Park. And this was the second canal that powered additional industries. But this upper end of town was the original industrial park.
And it was in use for industry until around what time?
About the 1880s, electrical power began to be developed, and electrical power would allow industries to be built away from the river and away from the hazard of being flooded out. In the 1880s and beyond, people were experimenting with electric power, and some of the old mills here were converted to electric in 1909. There was a power company here that built the Embry Power Station, built the Embry Dam, again using this canal, and that was really began to power.
And so, it hasn't been used for sort of as a transportation or an industry source for what, 50 years now?
Yeah, it hasn't been used for industries since the 1880s, 1890s. The electricity was produced into the 1960s. So yeah, about 50 years plus.
All right, well, Dave, tell us a little bit about what the canal is now used for, and what we do to try to keep up its appearance and that kind of thing.
Right. So nowadays the canal serves primarily as a recreational resource for our community. It's also a great ecological feature for the city as well. The trail that is running past us here runs along the canal and is used a lot by joggers and bikers. We try to maintain a level of water in the canal at all times. That was one of the requirements when the Embry Dam was removed, that we maintain this canal in a water feature form, which means we've had to make some improvements to our gate structures, our sluice gate structures that allow storm water to escape. And we have an aeration system that's in the canal to keep the water aerated as well. So again, primarily it's nowadays it's kind of a stormwater feature, a recreational feature, and ecological benefit to our community.
And it's got obviously a really rich history. You can find at the visitor center, we've got a couple of brochures that cover some of the material that Eric was talking about, the history of the mills and hydroelectric power, et cetera, in Fredericksburg. So drop by the visitor center and pick up one of these brochures. Come out to our canal trail and see it for yourself. Eric and Dave, thanks for being with us today, and hope that this has taught you a little bit about one of the cool features of Fredericksburg. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.